And what you need to know around this particular story is that the Minister of Health, Jen Ruth Cheng, there was admitting that the project was installed for several reasons. And she was mentioning on her discussions that there have been held over the developer, over the Attorney General, and the President as well. And the government in business for Parliament as well hold accountable, called people accountable in the committee to as well seek answers. We needed answers as to why this is happening. Let me not talk more about this, but what you also need to know is that the contractor either provides material or labor or do a job. And in the revelation that was made when they were called upon to highlight, or when they were giving insight about the hospital, Ministry of Health will interfacing with members of Parliament committee there, whom were receiving the response actually from a ministerial policy statement for the financial year 2022-2023. We're highlighting a number of reasons, among which we're going to listen up to now, but share your opinion on Lubowa Hospital. What do you think we can change towards our, further planning as government of Uganda, as we develop projects, as we develop infrastructure in the country? What should be done? Because we are seeing delays, not only Lubowa Hospital, but look at what is happening with the Karuma Dam. What should be done with the contractors? Share your opinion there. We continue to drive business together. Listen to the story, tap more, and we return to discuss on it.
In a bid to improve the health system in Uganda, especially treatment of chronic diseases, Parliament in 2019 passed a sum of 1.4 trillion shillings for the construction of a classified hospital and a specialized hospital project at Lubowa in Wakiso district. On the 6th of August, health officials from the Ugandan government were denied access to the construction site of the International Specialized Hospital of Uganda, which raised so many questions. Finance Minister Matia Kasaija, while meeting the Parliamentary Finance Committee, said the committee needs to audit the report to certify how the works are moving.
To this committee to order and audit. Value for money audit. Value for money audit. That's the daily end of it. We're talking about just hold on. And this should be done as quickly as possible to satisfy all of us whether we are moving rightly or we are not moving rightly. That's all I can say. Because when I look at this, I can see there are only 2 certificates now pending, promissory notes pending.
However, legislators on the Finance Committee dismissed Kasaija and also refused to pass the 319 billion supplementary budget to finish the Lubowa Hospital project in the 2022-2023 financial budget until they visit the place.
For us to go and see, we are not technical, but we want to see the work done on the ground. And one of the honorable members alluded it to a pregnancy. When there's a pregnancy and a child is about to be born, the stomach must be accentuated, must be big. It can't be small. So the signs of the pregnancy, whether it would be a dead child or a living one, must be seen. So tomorrow we've agreed as a committee that with the 3 ministers of finance, led by the main minister, Honorable Kasaija, we will be going to Lubowa at 8 o'clock to making sure that as a committee we use our eyes to see what is on the ground.
Omara says the contractor has failed on their obligation.
The company that was contracted to do the work, they are the ones that they have defaulted on their obligations. They should have finished their work by 2 years. By now they should have finished the work. And the excuse they give is that because of COVID. I remember very clearly that the president instructed that those who are in construction should continue working. So nobody closed any factory from operations, whether it's manufacturing cement or iron bars or whatever, which is good for construction. So those people should have continued working. COVID did not end construction work. For the last 2 years we had COVID. So they delayed, they did not deliver. Now the minister want to put us on pressure. We are not going to budge that. And that is public money. That is 309 19 billion shillings. They had already been given 345 billion shillings. So that is over 600 billion shillings.
Jen Avuru, Pakwachumwan Member of Parliament, says the project, they will decide whether they can go there.
Very happy that you, the senior minister, is here. You have seen the mood of the members. That project is definitely very important for the people of Uganda, given the increasing rate of cancer, infections and whatever. But because members are not sure, we will decide after here whether we take the motion of Honorable Chivumbi to go there. But
it's interesting, 319 million that they would want a supplementary budget to be considered to be given to Lubowa Hospital, specialized hospital, to complete the process or the activities there. But earlier on, it was almost the same money that was given. So they need another budget allocation. I do not know. There was no construction at the end of the day because of the other more than 300 billion. And this request of 319, it feels like you're just requesting for almost the same amount at the beginning that was given, for, construction processes. But we anticipate what will be coming out of today's meeting at Lubowa International Specialized Hospital that is actually going to help a number of Ugandans treat cancer patients and a lot of people, because this is a specialized hospital. That means treating special cases, and special cases involved cancer, heart attacks, a lot of things, and Ugandans have got hope in this hospital. But what happens to the hope when you see a delay in the process, when you see something that you're hopeful of is not actually coming to pass? So members of parliament were not in agreement with actually the supplementary budget that was being asked, around 319 billion, to be allocated and added onto the construction process. But with that, we're also going to look at what more can we learn as we plan as government. In our planning, what kind of budgeting do we consider? Is it a program budget? Is it a process budgeting that we consider in this case? Because we need to know and learn from the past. We need to learn from the past experiences. We do not keep, being given as examples of a corruption entity, example of, selfishness in our sectors. At the end of the day, it is going back to the leaders. It's going back to the authorities to, authorize this kind of policies that come to pass. And when you look at how the situation is, I remember I just reflect on what the Member of Parliament was highlighting, and I do support him that President, ordered lockdowns and, allowed at least construction to be ongoing, but also essential workers to be ongoing. So this should never continue. I feel like whenever you're asking someone, why did this delay, or why has this been affected that much, most of the people are going to highlight for you, Tewalaba COVID. It's been COVID, the COVID-19 everywhere. And this reflects on right now. We're in inflation. We are in a crisis of price, commodities going high and going up each day. Everyone is selling at their own capacity whenever they feel like. But where are you? Why are you taking advantage of the situations that are not even affecting you at some point? This is a business tactic, yes it is, but at the end of the day, you need to reconsider the end user, because when you exploit people at the end of the day, who is going to come back the next month to buy from you? So you're doing things out of the excitement, manufacturers, some producers of certain products that are not being affected here. You're doing these things out of excitement, taking advantage of the situation. But then if you exploit that user, because this is a temporary situation, meanwhile, someone has to come back after 5 months to shop from you again. How will you look at them? Or will you even be having them, or you will have lost them to someone who is actually selling to moderate minimum prices? After the break, definitely we'll discuss what you've got to know about dormant accounts. Do stay with us. We return shortly. SMB continues.